Welcome to another episode of the Cup of Joe Show. I am your host, Joe Wittman, and once again in this episode, I'm going to be giving you just a taste of the week in sports. Well, it's everyone's favorite week of the whole sporting year. It's March Madness. The brackets have been revealed, and for the rest of this week, the level of productivity in most offices across the free, loving world is going to go to a minimum, probably a snail pace, maybe even a crawl. I'm almost positive you go to most people's desktops and they're going to have a bracket minimized on their computer so their bosses don't see that they're not working. This is a holiday. It's actually a national holiday. The week that the brackets come out, we all go crazy. We fill out these brackets because everyone thinks they can make the perfect bracket, but nobody ever gets the perfect bracket. I have one thought on the perfect bracket. If you fill out more than, let's say 2 brackets, one, just do crazy picks, and one that picks that you actually think are going to happen. If you fill out more than 2 of those, I'm sorry. I lose all respect for you, okay? That's not how you do it, okay? That doesn't mean you're good at picking. That just means you chose every possible option, and eventually you got a few more right than everybody else. That is not how smart you are by any means. Now, saying that you have to be smart to do good in the bracket is false, as we all know. Last year, Virginia got beat by a 16 for the first time ever. Unfortunate. I'm sorry to bring that up if you're a Virginia fan. That was a sad, sad moment. But it had to happen. I was just hoping it would have happened to Kansas. Dislike them strongly. If you know me personally, you know why. But enough of that. In this show, it's all about the bracket. It's all about what to happen in this bracket. You can take my advice, or you can go in your own way, and either way, most likely, your bracket's going to be busted. First up, these are the teams that I think will definitely ruin your bracket. So you might want to avoid these guys like the plague, because I have a feeling they're not going to do as well as some might think. Of course, if you're a fan of these teams, you're going to pick them to go all the way to the Final Four and maybe win the whole thing because you believe. Somebody please tell me the last time it meant anything to believe that your team is going to win. Okay, that only applies to a few programs and a few sports throughout the history of time, okay? You're talking about the great Yankees teams, all right? You could believe in them, and they were definitely going to win, all right? You could say that about Duke basketball for quite a long time as well. In sports, there are those teams, all right? The Red Wings from Detroit, the hockey team. You could believe in them. There's a good chance they were going to win the Stanley Cup, all right? But when it comes to March Madness, there are the good, there are the bad, and there are the extremely lucky. So, teams that I would highly avoid, well, first up, Kansas, the Jayhawks. This is by far one of Bill Self's worst basketball teams he's had in years, all right? Exhibit A, they did not win their conference, and that hasn't happened in a long time. They just don't have that team that goes, we're going to come in and kick your butt. We've got the firepower. We've got these amazing basketball players. They just don't. They don't have the wow factor. They don't scare anybody necessarily. And Bill Self has been a very frustrated head coach this year, and it makes me so happy. But, some people will see the name Kansas and be like, oh, yeah, I'm taking Kansas to the Final Four. Heck, I might even make them go to the finals. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your bracket may be wrecked by the end of the first weekend. It's highly, highly possible that Kansas will wreck your bracket. Next, LSU. Do I really need to tell you about the mess that LSU is currently? They don't have a head coach. Their head coach is currently suspended for alleged cheating scandal. The star player gets to play again somehow. I don't know how that magically happens, but he's allowed to play. So that'll help them play a little bit better. However, you have to wonder about where the mental state is of LSU right now. What are they thinking? They've got to be on edge knowing all the things that have gone down and what's possibly going to happen to that team in the future. That can't be good for anyone. Watch LSU play early this year. Was not that overly impressed by them. They've got some athletes, sure. But would I say, if my team was playing them and my team, was a 20-win team going up against LSU, would I be worried? No, not at all. They're a 3 seed, which shocked me, okay? But they're definitely beatable. Will they lose in their first game? Potentially. But I can't see them getting past the second round game. And they're definitely, if they somehow get past 2, they're definitely losing that third game. So don't let LSU wreck your bracket either. Auburn, yeah. Let's be honest. This is the streakiest basketball team I've seen all year. When they hit their three-pointers, they're amazing. They're world beaters. They can beat anyone because you might be down by 5, and the next thing you know, you're down by 15. They just do that to teams. When they start shooting, they keep shooting. They pour it on. They don't let up. However, when they go cold, they're a very beatable basketball team. Very beatable. Super streaky. And, another reason not to pick Auburn and they could possibly ruin your bracket is that Bruce Pearl, okay? The guy's got that cheater smirk on his face all the time. Can't stand him, okay? That alone is probably bad karma. That alone is going to get Auburn beat somewhere, maybe the very first game. Don't pick Auburn to go anywhere, okay? They're going to bust your bracket. Last, I hate to say this, but the Virginia Cavaliers, man, where is the Virginia Cavaliers' mental state currently? After what happened last year, that's in the back of their minds going into this tournament. Are they going to be beat in the first round? No. Let's hope not, for God's sakes. For their sakes, let's hope that never happens to anyone else again. But I could see them winning a couple games and maybe getting to the Elite Eight. But if you have them going to winning the whole thing, you might want to rethink it because this team plays boring basketball. It's good basketball, super boring. You've seen the movie Hoosiers, right? 18 passes before anyone shoots, whatever the magic number was. Yeah, that's Virginia. I mean, they lull you to sleep. Pass over here, pass over there, pass over here. And, eventually they usually take good shots. And a lot of them go in, which is why they have such a good record. They got number 1 seed. But when they play a high-energy team that gets them out of kind of how they like to play, it's a way different basketball team. So I would not pick Virginia simply because you don't know what you're going to get. And I can see them losing somewhere, probably the third game. Who knows? Maybe a little bit earlier. I doubt it, though. But they could break your bracket if you pick them to win the whole thing, which some people are, and some of the experts on TV are saying that as well. Let's move on to upsets in my Cinderella pick for the whole tournament. I'm not picking a ton of upsets because, let's be honest, there usually aren't a ton of upsets. There's usually a couple, 3 or 4 maybe every year. My first one, Belmont. Okay? Every time Belmont's in a tournament, I have to pick them. I don't know what it is. They do have a way of winning those first-round games. Now, I understand they have to win that play-in game first, but as a team, Belmont's no slackers. They're averaging 87 points a game. They shoot 37% from 3. And you know what Belmont has in it? They have the disrespect factor, okay? Most of the people these experts that pick, who's going to go in, who's going to be in the field, didn't think Belmont deserved a shot. Well, I think they've probably successfully made Belmont a little mad, and they're going to come out firing. I could see them win that first game and definitely pulling off an upset or two. Belmont's a good little squad. Yeah, they come from a smaller league, but you know what? This time of year, it's all about momentum and whoever's playing their best basketball. If your team can shoot from deep and you're averaging 87 points a game, you got a shot against just about anyone. So Belmont's definitely one of my upset picks. Old Dominion. Number 2 upset. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about Old Dominion. But I do like to say ODU. It's just fun. It's kind of like one of those old rap groups from the 80s, Yo, 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 we're ODU. We're in the house. I love it. I don't know if they can even, play good basketball, but they're 26-8, so they don't suck, right? I'm going with ODU. It's fun to say ODU. I know that's not a great reason to pick an upset, but for me, it works, okay? We all have our reasons, okay? It's the little things in life. Next upset pick, the Liberty Flames. Part of the reason I picked this is because their name were the Flames. Could they not get more original, people? The Flames? I don't know. It doesn't do much for me, but it's just weird enough that I liked it. They're 28-6. Pretty good record. But I'm picking this one simply because I don't think Mississippi State's all that good. All right? They were 23-10. Okay. Their best win was over Auburn, which was at home. So, I guess that's a good win. It's an okay win. The SEC was a weird league this year. You've got a couple good teams up at the top, and the rest of the league was very average. So, I could see Liberty shocking Mississippi State, and I'd love it. I'd love to see it. Definitely can happen. Go Flames. Woo! All right, my last one, and this is my Cinderella pick. I could see this team not only winning their first game, but more than one game, is Murray State. If you haven't seen John Morant's show yet, okay, the kid's awesome, all right? I know everyone's on the Zion Williamson bandwagon, but John Morant, good Lord, he averages 24 points a game. He's a superstar. He's going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA. The kid's got all the skills that you need. And this team's playing with a mission, that they won their tournament. They're coming in. They got nothing to lose. Super, super talented kid. Okay. I see no reason why Murray State can't run a few games, 2 or 3 games. Unfortunately, Gonzaga is going to take them out most likely. But if not, who knows? I mean, if they can beat Gonzaga, there's no stopping them at that point. You get behind a superstar like John Morant and anything's possible. All right, moving on to what everyone really wants to know. Final 4 picks and the champ. First Final 4, Duke, of course. Let's be honest, folks. It's Zion's world. We are all just living in it, okay? This team with Zion Williamson on the court is the best show since Michigan's Fab Five, by far, okay? They put on a show, and Zion, he's a freak. He is amazing with the basketball. The guy can do it all, and he makes everyone around him better. And Barrett's already pretty awesome. He's also an NBA basketball player in the making. Duke's definitely in my Final 4. In my opinion, the best team that there is. There's no way I can keep them out. My second team is Tennessee. I've seen Tennessee play earlier this season, and they looked like a national champion basketball team. They've got 2 really good scorers in Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. I just love the dude's name. Admiral Schofield. Are you kidding me? Like, get out of the way. The Admiral's coming through. I love it. I love it. And Rick Barnes, what a great coach. He's got good experience in March. He does know how to coach a good basketball team to win in March, which I like a lot. Tennessee showed me earlier this year that they've got what it takes to really go far in the tournament. So I got them in my Final 4 as well. Third team is North Carolina. Cameron Johnson, 17 points a game, shoots 46% from outside 3-point range. And then you got the big boy down low, Luke May. He's a handful. The guy he just makes buckets. And he's got some nice touch, too. For a big boy, 280 pounds, like 6'8", I believe. Not 280, I'm sorry. He's about 240, 6'8". 280 would be like Zion, okay? He's not Zion, but Luke May's a pretty talented big guy down low for North Carolina. He's a lot to deal with, especially when you're trying to guard the other guys on that team. Third team, Michigan. Yep. John Beilein, another coach that can really coach his team up in March. They fell just short last year of the national title. I think they're hungry. They're probably really mad that they lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten title game against Izzo. I'm almost guaranteeing they're angry about that still right now. So they're hungry. I could see Michigan getting all the way there. I know people are like, oh, Gonzaga. But you know what? When Michigan plays Michigan ball, they're impressive, and they can beat Gonzaga, and they can go to the finals. So who wins this whole thing? I got Duke, of course. Duke beating Carolina in a classic. Yes, it'll be epic. It'll be historical. It'll be talked about for ages and years, and your grandchildren's children, and all of them will be talking about. Okay, it probably won't even be that. But I do think Duke's going to win. I put them against Carolina. Duke wins simply because they got the best coach, the best 2 players in college hoops with Williamson and Barrett, and that's all you need, really. Duke takes the whole thing. Now, granted, 80% of the country is going to pick Duke to win the whole thing. So to win your bracket, you got to win the first weekend, guys. So make sure you're paying attention to those first 2 games. Don't screw up your bracket on silly picks. Pick the team that's really overall better. Yeah, pick some upsets, but a lot of people are going to beat Duke. And if everyone has Duke, the winner is going to be the person who won those early games. Finally, for my last and most favorite segment of my show, WTF. This show, I'm talking about stupid drivers. Ridiculously stupid drivers. You know what drives me crazy more than anything when I'm driving and there's a bad driver? Is that bad driver who likes to cut you off. And then after they've cut you off, they decide, I'm going to put my blinker on. That'll be great. Really? You're going to put your blinker on after the fact that you nearly took out my front bumper. Then you're going to put your blinker on? Really? What the f***? That's it, folks. That's all I got for my show today. Shameless plug. Breckenridge Brewery, the Vanilla Stout is fantastic. That's it. See you later.